Tonight on NewsWatch, buying binge. After Christmas shopping is the best in years. Plus, saving Adian, how Operation Blessing and doctors teamed up to save a little girl's life. And fan or fanatic, can the love of football go too far? All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Good evening, I'm Lori Johnson. The East Coast blizzard is gone, but its aftermath and agony keep going, causing trouble from the airports to the neighborhoods. This blizzard is the gift that just keeps giving misery. It especially messed up the airlines and airports, causing a ripple effect at airports thousands of miles away and canceling thousands of flights. It all made for some ridiculously long travel ordeals.
We left Hong Kong on the New York time, the 26th, 9:30 night time, and I just got here. Now today is already 28. 26 to 28 is 40 hours. Flying from Hong Kong, I think I can go around the world.
Runways and gates buried in 2 feet of snow meant many passengers trapped in jets on the tarmac for hours. And all the cancellations have left legions of would-be flyers stuck in airports.
There is no service, no facilities, so we spent a night in animal condition, I think.
In an age where airlines try to jam every jet as full as possible, there's little room to rebook all the people who lost their original flights to the blizzard. Many are now hearing they may not get on board another jet till the new year arrives. Meanwhile, unplowed roads in neighborhoods like these in New York City have led to a different kind of road rage, the kind you get when you can't use your road.
I've been delivering newspapers and I couldn't get down the block, but I tried anyway. And I got stuck, and this gentleman was kind enough to try to help me get out. But it's been 5 hours.
Even where there is no snow or ice, winter's bite is hard, like in Florida, experiencing cold it hasn't felt in more than 80 years.
We want to be on the beach by the pool. We want to tan. I'm wearing my coat that I wear in New York.
State inspectors have been dispatched to Maine's Sugarloaf Ski Resort to investigate the accident that injured 9 skiers. They want to know why a ski lift derailed, sending skiers plummeting as far as 30 feet into the new fallen snow. More than 200 skiers were trapped on the lift for several hours amid wind gusts of 30 to 50 miles per hour. The resort's ski patrols scrambled to evacuate them using a pulley system to lower skiers to the ground. A hospital spokeswoman says none of the injuries are life-threatening. Florida's citrus crops have been damaged by the deep freeze, and it's not just the oranges that have suffered. All Florida fruit and vegetable farmers have lost at least $115 million due to the cold blast. The Sunshine State provides 75% of the country's orange supply and 40% of the world's orange juice. The cold weather chilling the southeast is causing a rarely seen sight along Florida's Gulf Coast. The Gulf of Mexico's waters have become so chilly, manatees are heading close to shore to warm up. They especially like the heated water flowing out of discharge canals around power plants. Tourists are enjoying the rare sight of nearby manatees lolling around. But this is a serious matter for the manatees. Getting really cold can compromise their immune systems. That could kill them if it goes on too long. The big boom of post-Christmas shopping just keeps going, and it's happening despite the big blizzard and a high unemployment rate. Charlene Israel has the story.
America hasn't seen such a blast of holiday shopping in 4 years.
Every store I go to is packed. People don't know to stay home.
Even those who can't reach the stores want to.
If there wasn't a blizzard today, I'd be shopping.
Sales are up a perky 5%. And online sales have soared a whopping 15%. The fact that the spending just keeps going days after Christmas might have something to do with how many people's gifts were gift cards.
I got a lot of gift cards, a lot of gift cards.
Or it could be shoppers are feeling a little safer this year.
Most people are in a better financial position and just a more stable environment so that they can spend a little bit more on themselves this year as compared to the last 2 years.
Bought myself stuff I didn't get for Christmas.
Interestingly enough, this binge of buying comes despite a 0.2 rise in the jobless rate and a 2-point drop in the Consumer Confidence Index. Worries aside, if this mobbing of the malls keeps up, it could seriously aid an economic recovery in 2011. Charlene Israel, CBN News.
A Sacramento airline pilot is going public after anonymously posting a video on YouTube pointing out what he calls a serious flaw in airport security. Chris Liu didn't think it would get much notice. Then the video went viral across the web. Liu pointed out the disparity between upstairs at the airport, where passengers face body scanners and pat-downs, and downstairs, where airport workers and ground crews gain access by simply swiping a card.
All I'm looking out for is the flying public. I just want to start from point A and go to point B, and if the flight is really boring, I've achieved my mission.
Now, however, Liu could face charges for sharing security secrets. President Obama is America's most admired man. That's what a new USA Today Gallup poll shows. It's the 3rd year in a row for Obama. 22% admire him the most, followed by 5% for George W. Bush and 4% for Bill Clinton. 17% pick Hillary Rodham Clinton as the most admired woman, her 9th year in a row at the top. She's followed by 12% for Sarah Palin and 11% for Oprah Winfrey. The poll asked more than 1,000 Americans which man and woman living anywhere on earth they admire most. Well, just imagine walking through the Holy Land in the very footsteps of Jesus. Well, now people can walk along a path that follows his steps. It's called the Jesus Trail. Chris Mitchell has that story from Galilee.
For 2,000 years, Christians have made spiritual journeys to Israel. Today, most visitors travel in tour buses. Now, there is a way to literally walk where Jesus walked. The Jesus Trail, a 4-day trek, offers a chance to slow down and absorb the sights and sounds of the Galilee, where Jesus lived and ministered. Co-founders Israeli Maoz Inon and American David Landis are experienced international hikers. They say creating a Galilee trail where Jesus walked was just natural.
It just seemed to make a lot of sense of how the Jesus Trail could bring a lot of new life to the Galilee, transform the communities, and give people, Christians, or just travelers and pilgrims, a way to really experience the life of Jesus in an authentic way that was very meaningful to them.
Marked with orange and white stripes, or an orange dot, the trail begins in Nazareth, now the largest Arab city in Israel. A guidebook, map, or GPS coordinates help show the way. The 36-mile trail winds across natural terrain to towns like Cana that are full of history, and over land with spectacular views.
We think it's very similar to the way Jesus would have walked. From the Bible, it talks about Jesus going from Nazareth to Capernaum.
On the first day, hikers come to the ancient town of Sipori. While the city is not mentioned in the Bible, it would have been under construction at the time of Jesus. Some scholars speculate that Joseph, and maybe even Jesus himself, worked there as builders. This part of the trail is about a day-and-a-half's journey from Jesus' hometown of Nazareth. It's on the way to an ancient Roman road. It's likely Jesus took that road on his way from Nazareth to the Sea of Galilee.
I think it's just interesting to think about how connected Jesus' geography was to the rest of the world during his time. Just the influences he would have had, the different languages he would have heard.
This Roman road was part of an ancient trade route connecting Egypt with Damascus and Mesopotamia. Today it's covered with weeds, but still located near a major travel and transportation junction in the Galilee.
Think of like how the internet connects people today. Like that's how Roman roads connected people during the time of Jesus.
Nature is also part of the Bible story. The locusts John the Baptist ate were probably carobs from a tree like this. Jesus cursed the fig tree when it had no fruit. And olive trees are biblical symbols of beauty and prosperity. Their fruit gave oil to anoint the priests and light the temple. By the third day, hikers get their first glimpse of the Sea of Galilee. The volcanic mountain, known as the Horns of Hittim, is the site of an ancient battle, which led to Islamic forces dominating the Holy Land and reconquering Jerusalem.
From here you can see basically most of the trails are out. You can see the area of Jesus' ministry along the Sea of Galilee here, and you can see the end point of the trail, which is Capernaum. You can sit under a tree in the shade and just look at where you've come and think about where you're going.
This is Mount Arbel. The cliff towers more than 1,000 feet above the Sea of Galilee. In Jesus' day, there was a Jewish town here, and travelers crossed through the valley below on their way from Nazareth to Capernaum. Next, you'll go to the traditional site of the Mount of Beatitudes, where Jesus preached his Sermon on the Mount. The last stop is Capernaum. Peter lived here, and Jesus used the town as his base during his years of ministry in the Galilee. And Jesus went about all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues, preaching the gospel of the kingdom, and healing all kinds of sickness, all kinds of disease among the people. So far in the last year, an estimated 1,000 people have walked the Jesus Trail. Landis says he thinks the number could grow to 100,000 each year as more and more people come to Israel to walk where Jesus walked. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, the Galilee.
Coming up, how Operation Blessing and doctors teamed up to bring urgent care to a little girl from Haiti.
Hi, Anthony Sullivan here for ShaveMate. All-in-one razors, Titan for men, Diva for women. Simplify your shaving, simplify your life. ShaveMate razors combine 6 premium blades and thick, rich, real shaving cream right inside the handle. So you'll never have to deal with the mess of cans of shaving cream again. ShaveMate is the perfect shaving solution for home, the gym, a business trip, or vacation.
It's everything in this one little package. It's perfect.
You get a great shave every time. I think it's going to change the way everybody shaves.
Order right now, and I won't just double the value, I'll triple it. Absolutely free. We'll even include our convenient shower hook. You get a total of 3 shave mates in your choice of Titan or Diva, and the shower hook, all for only $9.99. Here's how to order.
Order now. Call 1-800-655-8514 or go to ShaveMate.com. That's 1-800-655-8514 or go to ShaveMate.com.
If you have diabetes and you're on Medicare, call now for a new pain-free meter. These new meters are more accurate, they're easier to use, and the best news is you don't have to prick your fingers anymore. Call now and Arriva Medical will send you one of these new meters for free. And if you have Medicare, your testing supplies may also be covered. Arriva makes it simple. They bill Medicare directly. There are no upfront costs. And they deliver your supplies right to your door for free. With these new meters, there's no coding, you don't have to prick your fingers, and some of these meters even talk.
Your blood glucose reading is 122.
And if you call 1-800-284-9762, we will send you a free Betty Crocker Diabetes Cookbook filled with delicious recipes.
Call Arriva today. You'd be glad you did.
In Haiti, a young father tried desperately to get help for his dying daughter to no avail. Then the head of Operation Blessing met the little girl at a Haitian hospital, and that meeting led to a series of events that her father calls miraculous. 7-year-old Adiane Norse no longer has a ticking time bomb in her arm. Growing up in Haiti, she contracted an infection in her bone that doctors there were unable to treat.
This would have never gotten better, and it would have gotten worse eventually. It could have caused her to lose her arm, caused her to get infection in other parts of her body, and even die from that.
Adiane was near death in a Haitian hospital. At the same time, CBN's Operation Blessing was there, installing water purification systems and beefing up the operating and emergency rooms. Adiane captured the heart of Operation Blessing's president, Bill Horan. He vowed to help Adiane, whose condition was deteriorating rapidly. Operation Blessing reached out to Children's Hospital of the King's Daughters in Norfolk, Virginia, who agreed to treat Adiane immediately and free of charge. Operation Blessing flew and escorted Adiane and her father Pierre from Haiti to Norfolk for what would be a 6-week ordeal. Christian host families not only took care of Adiane and her father's basic needs, but also drove them to their many doctor visits. Children's Hospital assembled an entire medical team to treat Adiane.
Children's Hospital is a huge heart, not only to take care of the children of Hampton Roads and the Commonwealth of Virginia, but we get the opportunity periodically to help individuals from third world countries. And this was a unique opportunity for us. It was a very compassionate organization that brought her to us in Operation Blessing. We were just proud to be part of this.
But it would not be easy. The team of doctors had to first isolate the germ that was causing Adiane's bone infection, then develop an antibiotic treatment. But this was complicated by the fact that Adiane also had sickle cell disease. First, a surgeon successfully removed the infection from the bone. Adiane was in the hospital for a week. Then after she was released, she received intravenous antibiotics administered by her father. That meant lots of follow-up visits to the hospital. Doctors and Pierre used this blue phone to communicate. A translator in Florida who speaks English and Creole was on the other end.
How's her overall appetite been? Has she been eating well, finding foods that she likes?
Pierre and Adiane spoke to me on the blue phone too. He recalled feeling hopeless about Adiane's infection, then smiled and said, "I believe it is God that allowed her healing." As for Adiane, she said everyone here has been very nice, but says she misses her mother and 3 siblings. Doctors have given her the green light to return home with a 9-month supply of oral antibiotics. So although Adiane's life back in Haiti will be challenging, at least now she has a fighting chance. Lori Johnson, CBN News. Nearly 1 million Haitians still live in tent cities almost a year after the devastating earthquake. Operation Blessing has been on the scene since day one, bringing needed relief. If you want to know more and see how you can help the ongoing work in Haiti, log on to our website, cbnnews.com. Up next, are you a college football fan or fanatic with a problem? CBN wades into the debate.
The doctor came in. I was still waking up from anesthesia. He leaned over my bed and he said, "Laura, you have cancer." And he walked out of the room. The first thought is, what's going to happen to my children?
It's pretty rare for a person as young as me to get Hodgkin's disease. Well, you would think, am I going to be here next year? Am I going to be able to spend more time with my family? And that was really hard.
The doctor says I would like to have his wife, his pastor, and his 2 best friends present. Then you know you're about to receive really bad news. There was very little hope given to us.
I just wanted this cancer out of me. I wanted to take care of it and move on.
We saw an ad on TV for Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and when I called them, I was very surprised that they were so quick to help us.
The second that we walked through the door, I knew that was the place that I wanted to be. If it wasn't for their kindness and giving, it would be unbearable to be able to go through something like that. And I honestly don't know how people who don't get that are able to handle it.
We were looking for medical care that would help us fight cancer, not manage it, but to actually fight it and beat it. And that's what we found.
Most people thought that that was a death sentence. I knew that I wanted to fight this. I knew I wasn't going to let that happen to me.
If you're a winner and you're a fighter and you're strong, you're going to stay that way. Your mental makeup, your attitude that you've taken your whole life with you, you're going to keep that attitude.
I said, let's just do it, and let me go on with my life.
Call now and we'll send you this free DVD that shows you how the most compassionate group of people anywhere puts you at the center of everything we do. Advanced medical treatment combined with unique supportive therapies give you treatment options you may not even know exist.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is the way of the future. Haitians are now taking control of their own healthcare destiny.
I truly wondered when he had cancer if I would ever get him back. Thanks to Cancer Treatment Centers of America, I have my husband back.
It's college football bowl season, and as everyone knows, fans can become fanatics. So can the sport become an idol? One football fan and author thinks so, but he recently told CBN's Lee Webb it is possible to stay faithful to your team and your God.
The late sportscaster Howard Cosell once said, "At Notre Dame, football is a religion. In Alabama, it is a way of life." Well, our next guest is an Alabama native who would argue that it's both. Football is a religion and a way of life. Chad Gibbs is the author of the new book, God and Football, Faith and Fanaticism in the Southeastern Conference. Chad wrote this book after he became convinced that following his alma mater's team, the Auburn Tigers, had become an obsession to him. Now, I should point out, in the interest of full disclosure here, that I, too, am an Auburn University graduate, and frankly, in reading Chad's book, felt like he was describing me. Chad, thanks for being with us. How did you recognize that football, and in particular Auburn football, had become an idol in your life?
Well, it was after the 2008 season, which was a particularly poor season for Auburn. You know, I don't think after winning seasons you really reflect too much on whether football is becoming too big a deal. But when you're losing, you sit around and pout and you get a little introspective. And I was starting to wonder, how come I couldn't worship God on Sunday mornings the way I typically do if my team lost a game on Saturday night?
Well, in the interest of addressing your problem, last season you set out to visit every school in the Southeastern Conference for one of their games. And Chad, frankly, it seems to me that that would be like an alcoholic deciding to visit other bars to see how other alcoholics were living. What was your goal in doing that?
Well, you know, I knew I wasn't alone, and I wanted to talk to other fans from other schools that were like me, people that love their team but also love their God, and try to find some folks that had a better grip on things, folks that were doing a better job of separating the two and prioritizing the two. And so I began emailing churches and campus ministries during the summer and heard from tons of people that were just like me.
What did you learn, Chad, that has put life in proper perspective and put God back at the top of your priority list?
Well, it's funny. I began looking for people who were just worse than me because I wanted to feel better about myself. And you know, that's human nature, though. We look for people that have a problem worse than ours so we can feel better. But I realized that wasn't the thing to be doing, and it wouldn't make a great book either. Through these journeys, what I eventually realized was that I don't even like football that much. I mean, I obviously like it. I wrote a book about it. I have season tickets. But what I like is the way I feel about myself when my team wins football games. And I realized I was getting so much of my self-worth, so much of my identity from these wins and losses. And, you know, I say in the book, for a Christian to think that their worth as a person has anything to do with intercollegiate athletics is terrifying. But I wasn't the only one. I talked to lots of folks that said, hey, this is my problem too.
And of course, Auburn now plays for the national championship January 10th against the University of Oregon. Do you think you'll have the proper perspective to watch that game, win or lose?
I hope so. This has been an interesting season. You know, winning presents a whole other set of challenges as losing. And I was at a book signing in Gainesville earlier this year, and a woman asked me, she's like, well, since you've written this book, are you able to handle losses better? And I said, I don't know. Auburn hasn't lost a game since I wrote the book.
Yeah.
And her theory was that God was setting me up to really test me later in the season, which I guess January 10th would be the last chance. And my response to her was, to get behind me, Satan. I don't want to do this.
I find it interesting. You're an Auburn fan, so am I, but some of your best advice came from a pastor, an evangelist who is an Alabama fan. Tell me what he said to you that kind of put everything in perspective.
Yeah, it was David Nasser, an evangelist out of Homewood or Hoover here in town, and he told me, he said, football is a great hobby, but it's a terrible God.
Well, Chad, your book has been a blessing to me personally. I do have a ticket for the game. I'm looking forward to watching our Auburn Tigers play Oregon, and I hope, too, that I have the proper perspective. Tell us quickly, how can we obtain your book? Do you have a website?
ChadGibbs.com is my website, and from there you can find the book on any online retailers and stores nationwide.
Well, again, the name of the book is God in Football, Faith and Fanaticism in the SEC. Chad Gibbs, thanks for being with us and sharing your insights.
Thanks, Lee. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Well, speaking of football, Tim Tebow is known for sharing his faith on the field. See how he's doing it now by NFL standards.
Finding video on CBN.com just got easier. We've taken all our video, the 700 Club, news, testimonies, teaching, plus our 24/7 channels, and put them in one convenient location, CBN TV. Watch what you want, when you want. It's all simple to find, and now easier than ever to email a story to a friend. CBN TV on CBN.com.
The doctor came in. I was still waking up from anesthesia. He leaned over my bed and he said, "Laura, you have cancer." And he walked out of the room. The first thought is, what's going to happen to my children?
It's pretty rare for a person as young as me to get Hodgkin's disease. Well, you would think, am I going to be here next year? Am I going to be able to spend more time with my family? And that was really hard.
The doctor says I would like to have his wife, his pastor, and his 2 best friends present. Then you know you're about to receive really bad news. There was very little hope given to us.
I just wanted this cancer out of me. I wanted to take care of it and move on.
We saw an ad on TV for Cancer Treatment Centers of America, and when I called them, I was very surprised that they were so quick to help us.
The second that we walked through the door, I knew that was the place that I wanted to be. If it wasn't for their kindness and giving, it would be unbearable to be able to go through something like that. And I honestly don't know how people who don't get that are able to handle it.
We were looking for medical care that would help us fight cancer, not manage it, but to actually fight it and beat it. And that's what we found.
Most people thought that that was a death sentence. I knew that I wanted to fight this. I knew I wasn't going to let that happen to me.
If you're a winner and you're a fighter and you're strong, you're going to stay that way. Your mental makeup, your attitude that you've taken your whole life with you, you're going to keep that attitude.
I said, let's just do it, and let me go on with my life.
Call now and we'll send you this free DVD that shows you how the most compassionate group of people anywhere puts you at the center of everything we do. Advanced medical treatment combined with unique supportive therapies give you treatment options you may not even know exist.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is the way of the future. Patients are now taking control of their own healthcare destiny.
I truly wondered when he had cancer if I would ever get him back. Thanks to Cancer Treatment Centers of America, I have my husband back.
George Beverly Shea will receive a Lifetime Achievement Grammy Award. Shea recorded 70 gospel albums and sang at Billy Graham Crusades for 60 years. Shea will receive the award in February, shortly after his 102nd birthday. Shea received one previous Grammy Award back in 1965 and was nominated 10 times. Denver Broncos quarterback Tim Tebow has always used football as a platform for his ministry, and Sunday's game against the Houston Texans was no different. The top 2010 rookie proudly wore Luke chapter 2, verse 11 on his wristband. The verse announces the birth of Jesus. Tebow first started wearing scripture in his eye black in college at the University of Florida. Now he's in the NFL and puts the scripture beside his plays, a way to abide by NFL rules and still show his faith. Good for him. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of NewsWatch. Remember, you can email us your questions and comments at newswatch@cbnnews.com. We hope you'll join us again next time, and have a great day, everyone.